نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We are still in section 5.2, and today we will talk about how to evaluate trigonometric functions with a calculator, using a calculator. You have in the calculator, you have sine, cosine, and tan. You have three buttons for sine, cosine, and tan. And also you have x to the power minus 1. X to the power minus 1 is an important button because it enables you to find or to calculate the reciprocals. X to the power minus 1 is 1 over x. 1 over x is the reciprocal. It is the reciprocal key. So to find the reciprocal of cosine, for example, secant, how to find secant pi over 12, you write 1 over cosine pi over 12, you get secant of pi over 12. So you use sine, cosine, and tan for these three functions. For cosecant, secant, and cotan, you use the reciprocal key. For example, use a calculator uh, to find the value to 4 decimal places. Please try to use and solve with me to make sure that you can use your calculator to get the correct answer. Now we have to pay attention here that this is degree, 48.2 degrees. So we have to be in the degree mode. To be in the degree mode, you have to check the calculator. Look to the upper line. There is a line, light line. If it is written D, it is degree. If there is D in the middle, yes, I have D, so there is degree. So I just go to cosine, I press cosine, and then I write 48.2. I press enter. The answer would be 0.6665. He asked for 4 decimal places. These are 4 decimal places. Now you look to the number after 5. After 5, I have 3. 3 is a number less than 5, so I can just cancel it, and this would be the answer of the question. Now to answer the second one, cotan, now you notice that this is 1.2 and there is no degree. So this is radian, 1.2 radian. So I have to be in the radian mode. To be in the radian mode, you press shift mode. When you press shift mode, you will find that number 4 is radian, number 3 is degrees. So you check, you press number 4, and now if you look to the light line, you will see R. R means radian. So how to find cotan using the calculator? You have to use that cotan is the reciprocal of tan. So it is 1 over tan 1.2. So you write 1 over tan 1.2, and the answer would be, you have to close the bracket. The answer would be 0.3887. These are 4 decimal places. Now after 7, I have 7. Okay, if I have 7, 7 is greater than 5. So I erase this one and I change it from 7 to 8, and I also erase this one. So this number, when cotan 1.2, when approximated to 4 decimal places, is 0.3888. Please use the calculator to answer this question and this question, and make sure that the answer is 0.642. We did cotan. Okay, let us this one, cosecant 1.5, you write it 1 over sine 1.5 in radian mode, and you answer the question. Okay, so it would be 1 over in radian mode, 1 over you write sine 1.5 sine. Sine 1.5. close the bracket. The answer to 4 decimal places would be 1.0025. After 5, I have 1, so I can just erase it without any change. You can please try this one. Make sure that cotan pi over 12 is 3.7321. How to answer this? 1 over 10 pi over 12. You have pi in the calculator. You write it pi, shift pi. It is above 10 to the power x. Some other questions from the book. Do the same, please. Find these by calculator. Let me find 48 for you. To find cotan pi over 18, I will write it. Of course, this is radian because there is no degree. So I have to be in radian mode. And I will write it 1 over 10 pi over 18. I go to the calculator, write it 1 over, I write 10, and then I go to pi, shift, I write pi, and then division 18, close parenthesis. The answer is 5.6712. Is it 4 decimal places? Yeah, 4 decimal places. Now after 2, I have 8.
Three.
So I change 2 to 3. Okay, this is the first point, how to calculate uh, trigonometric functions in radian and degrees using calculator. Now let us go to some other type of questions. Find the measure, the question find the measure of the side of the right triangle. This is a right triangle whose length is designated by a lowercase letter. So this is the lowercase letter C. So the question find C. Okay, find C. Round answers to the nearest whole number. To the nearest whole number. Whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the whole numbers. Okay, what do we need to find? We need to find C. Okay, I don't have this side. The length of this side is not there. All right. So what can I do? What do I have in the question? I know that this angle is 23. I can find this angle, of course, angle B, because it is 90 minus 23. But this one is not helpful. Now I have 23. The angle is 23. I know that the opposite side to this angle is 16. The length is 16. And I need the hypotenuse because C is opposite to capital C, so it is the hypotenuse. So I need to think what is the function, what is the trigonometric function that uses opposite and hypotenuse. Okay, if you know so toi, you will know that sine theta in general, so is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 23, which is the angle theta, would be the length of the opposite side, which is 16, over C, which is the missing number. Now I solve this equation, multiply cross product. So C, or you can, because this is 1, you can change the positions of C and sine 23. So C would be 16 over sine 23. Now to find C, you have to be in the radian, in the degree mode. So I will go back shift mode, degrees, which is number 3, and then I will write 16 over, and I will write sine 23. The answer is 40.948 and so on. Now I need to round this to the nearest whole number. It has to be a whole number, 41 or 40, 39 like this. I have 9 here, okay, and 9 is greater than 5, so I write it 41. So C is 41 when I round 40.95 to the nearest whole number. Some other type of questions, use a calculator to find the value of the acute angle theta. All right. Now I need to find the value of the angle theta. So the question to the nearest degree. What is theta such that tan theta is this one, 4.6252. So how can I find theta? Okay. Well, in the calculator, we have above sine, tan, and cosine, we have sine inverse, cosine inverse, tan inverse. If you have tan theta equals 4.6252, then theta, this angle theta, would be equal to tan inverse 4.6252. So all what you have to do here is to use tan inverse key. And to use tan inverse, you need to go to shift. Uh, we will use, what is the answer? To the nearest degree. Degree. So you have to be in the degree mode. I am in the degree mode, so I will use shift tan. Shift tan, you will see tan inverse written. So tan inverse, I put the number 4.6252. The answer would be 77.8 degrees. To round to the nearest degree, 8 is greater than 5, so theta would be 78 degrees. I raise 7 to 8 because this 8 is greater than 5. Use a calculator to find the value of the acute angle theta in radians. Okay, rounded to 3 decimal places. So I have to be in radian mode, so shift mode number 4. Now I am in the radian mode. How to find theta? Theta is cosine inverse 0.4112. Now I use cosine inverse key, so shift cosine. I have cosine inverse written 0.4112. The answer would be in radian 1.147. After 7, I have 0. He said 3 decimal places, so this is the answer. You write radian or you don't write. If you leave it, we understand that it is radian, but do not put circle because it would be degrees. Please try to solve this question similarly. Now here, find the exact value of each expression. Do not use a calculator. So let us think of this question. Please look carefully to this question. I have sine square 40 and sine square 50. The first thing to notice that the angles are different. If the angles were the same, I know that sine square plus cosine square is 1. But this is not cosine square, this is sine square. So I think, what about, can I change sine square to cosine square? Because if I have, we know that sine square theta plus cosine square theta is 1. Okay, so if I can change sine square to cosine square, this would be 1. Okay, how can I change sine? How can I replace sine by cosine? I know that sine theta is cosine 90 minus theta. So sine 50 would be cosine 90 minus 50. And 90 minus 50 is 40. So sine 50 is actually equal to cosine 40. So I can replace sine square 50 by cosine square 40. So this would be 1 plus sine square 40 plus cosine square 40. And now sine square plus cosine square is just 1. So the answer would be 1 plus 1, which is 2. And you can use your calculator to check that really the answer is 2. Another question, express the exact value of each function as a single fraction. Do not use a calculator. If he says do not use a calculator, he needs you to write the steps, okay? Not just the answer. You need to write the steps. If theta is an acute angle and cotangent theta equals 1 over 4, find pi over tan pi over 2 minus theta. Find tan pi over 2 minus theta. So what is tan pi over 2 minus theta? Express the exact value as a single fraction. So the answer should be single fraction. We know from cofunction identities that cotangent theta is equal to tan pi over 2 minus theta. This is from cofunction identities. So we know also that cotangent theta from the question is 1 over 4. So tan pi over 2 minus theta would be also 1 over 4. And this is the answer to this question. Now, some applications about trigonometric functions. One important thing here to differentiate between angle of elevation and angle of depression. Okay, angle of elevation, when you are here and looking up. When you look up from here, up, this is the horizontal line. So the angle when you're looking up between the horizontal line and the airplane, this angle is called the angle of elevation. But if you are the observer, if you are looking down, okay, if you are looking down, then this angle between the horizontal and the car would be angle of depression. So you need to understand what is the meaning of elevation and depression because they will come in the questions. Let us see this example. Citing the top of a building. So somebody is looking up to the top of a building. He is standing here and he is looking up to the top of the building. A surveyor measured the angle of elevation. Angle of elevation means he is looking up, means this angle, 22. This is the angle of elevation. Measured the angle of elevation to be 22. Okay, so 22 is the angle of elevation. The transit is 5 feet. What is the transit? This one, the small instrument here. Uh, that he is looking, okay, through. This transit has 5 feet, has 5 feet length or height. The height of the transit is 5 feet above the ground and 300 feet from the building. So he is standing away from the building 300 feet. So the distance between the transit and the building is 300 feet. What is the question? You need to understand the question carefully, read it once and twice. Try to sketch a graph. They may not bring a graph to you in the exam, so you need to visualize the problem, sketch a graph, and put the information in the graph, on the graph, and then what is the question? Find the building's height. So we need to find the building's height, which is, you can call it A, okay? This height, you can call it A. So what do we have? We have a right triangle. We have a right triangle. And we have an angle, 22. What do we know? Okay, we need A. A is the opposite side to 22. And we have 300, which is the adjacent side to 22. So we think of a function, a trigonometric function that deals with opposite and adjacent. Okay, if you use so, ka, toi, you find that tan theta is opposite over adjacent. Okay, good. So tan 22, tan 22 would be opposite, which is A, over adjacent, which is 300 feet. Okay. Uh, of course, yeah, he is looking from here. So that's the triangle. Okay. So then you can multiply cross multiplication a times 1. So a would be 300 times 10 22, and you put it in the calculator and you find the answer. Make sure that you are in degree mode. I am in radian mode, so I have to change it shift mode to be in degree mode. Multiply 300 times 10 22. The answer is 120.2 feet. What is the question? Find the building's height. He did not say to any decimal. The angle of elevation, the transit ground. He did not say anything. So I may round it up to the nearest integer, 121 feet. If you want to write it in this case 121.2, that's also correct because he did not say in the question, he did not ask a specific approximation. So the answer is 121 feet. Another example, please do this one. It is similar. Okay, this is a building that is 21 meters tall. No, I will solve this question because the information is different. Now the height is given. The height of the building here is 21. Uh, this building casts a shadow 25 meters long. So the shadow of this building, this is the shadow of this building, uh, casts a shadow of 25 meters. So the shadow is 25 meters. Find the angle of elevation. So the angle of elevation, when you look up to the sun, the angle of elevation here is what we need to find. We need to find theta to the nearest degree. Okay. Once again, I have a right triangle, I have theta, and I have the opposite side, and I have the adjacent side. So tan theta deals with opposite and adjacent. So it would be 21 over 25. Now I need to find theta. We learned how to find theta. We use tan inverse of 21 over 25. Do I need it in degrees? Yeah, to the nearest degrees. So make sure that you are in the degree mode. I am in the degree mode. Now shift tan, which is tan inverse 21 over 25. The answer is 40.03 to the nearest degree. So I will just write it 40 degrees. A flag pole, a flag, there is no graph here. This is a flag, okay? A flagpole that's 14 meters tall. So it's 14 meters tall. Casts a shadow. This is the shadow of 10 meters long. Find the angle of elevation to the sun, of the sun to the nearest degree. So this is the sun here somewhere, okay, and find this angle, the angle of elevation. So this is exactly similar to this question. Please solve it and find the answer. Another exercise, the distance across a lake A, this is the distance A, is unknown. To find this distance, a surveyor took the measurements shown in the figure. So the surveyor is here at the point A. The distance from A to C is 750 yards, and the angle from A to B is 24. Can you use this information to find the distance across the lake? And the answer is yes. The angle is 24. I have the opposite. I need the opposite, and I have the adjacent. So again, I can use tan, this angle. Tan 24 is the opposite over the adjacent, and I solve A would be equal to 750 times tan 24, and the answer should be, he did not say, so you can write it to the nearest yard if you like. Okay, so it is in degrees. I have to be in degree mode. I am in degree mode. So the answer 750. I write 10, 24. So the answer is 333.9, 333.9. So I will just write it 334 yards. Another question similar to that one. Please try to solve, and the answer is given here to you. At a certain time of a day, the angle of elevation of the sun is 40. So if this is the ground, somebody is looking up to the sun is somewhere here, and the angle is 40 degrees. To the nearest foot, find the height of a tree. Of course, this is the tree. Okay, here this is the tree. Okay, this is the tree, and the sun is here, and this is the angle of elevation. This is a tree. This is a tree, a palm tree if you like, and this is the sun. You have a right triangle. What do we have? We know that the angle 40. Find the height of tree. So this is not known. Whose shadow? The shadow is 35. Again, you have, what do you have now? You have the opposite. You need the opposite, and you have the adjacent. So tan 40 is A over 35. Multiply. A would be 35 times tan 40, and please find the answer. Another question. A tower that's 125 feet tall casts a shadow 172 feet long. Find the angle of elevation. That's the angle of elevation. We used a question similar to this. You use the tan theta is 125 over 172, and then you find theta tan inverse of 125 of 172. You have to be in the degree mode and find the answer to the nearest degree. I think this is the last question. We have a guy wire 75 feet long. So this is the guy wire. This is the long of the guy wire, 75 feet. Is attached attached from the ground to the top of the pole. Okay, I have a telephone pole which is 60 feet tall. So this telephone pole is 60 feet tall, and this is a guy wire 75 feet. And what is the question? Find the angle between the wire and the pole. So this is the wire, this is the pole. He needs this angle theta. Find the angle to the nearest degree. You think, what do we have? We have the adjacent of theta. We don't have the opposite here. And we have 75, and 75 is the hypotenuse. So what is the function that deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? If you know so kahtua, you know that cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so what is adjacent? 60. And what is hypotenuse? 75. So cosine theta is 60 over 75. How can I find theta? Cosine inverse 60 over 75. You have to be in the degree mode, so you can ask shift cosine inverse 60 over 75, and the answer is 36.86. So I will just write it 37 degrees. This is the answer of the question, and by this we come to the end of this section. Please, if you have any question,